Whether you're picking and grinning or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up.
Where the fuck are you, Falls?
This is actually, I'm glad you asked, for two reasons. Number one, I feel the need to explain that I am in a different room than I normally am. And it's obvious because the lighting, the fluorescent lighting in here is highlighting the fact that my hairline is receding and thinning. And I don't like that at all, but I can't do anything about it because there's no lamps. So if I turn the lights off, you can't see me at all. So this is as good as I could get in the setup. Now, step one. Step two, I am in the broadcast studio at WXCC FM 96.5. And the studio is actually in Pikeville, Kentucky, my hometown. But this is the station where Appalachian Echoes airs 4 to 7 on Saturdays. And I had to be home. Mom had surgery a couple weeks ago. My sister's been kind of babysitting her and making sure she's all right for the last couple weeks. So I had to come home to kind of relieve Rachel, my sister, so she could go home for a little while. And I called the radio station, said I need someplace quiet with good internet to be able to record a podcast. They said, just come up and do it in the studio. So
nice.
Here's what's really cool, though. This room, and I can't really do this much, but we've got, it's a radio studio, so it's not very big. But if I move my head, you can see we are 96.5 The Mullet. So that is a coal miner's hat with,
yes, I see that,
with a mullet
with
coming out of the back of it. And there's some coal impediments and things like that on the wall. But here's the cool thing about this studio. This is the very room that housed WDHR. Back then it was 92.1 FM, that I made my broadcasting debut in when I was 14 years old. It was in this, not this actual chair, but this seat at this board, not the actual board. They've changed it since I started, and it's all computerized and digital now. It used to be not. There used to be a wall of reel-to-reel machines back here, and I would thread the reel-to-reel machines and set them up, and then I would program this little crazy box that told reel machine 1 run and then stop, and then the computer bank would run a cart commercial, and then reel 2 run. And so I had to program all that. That was how I babysat the radio station when I was a kid. But this is the actual room where I made my radio debut 38 years ago. Would have been a little bit more than 38 years ago, because it would have been in the summertime when I did that. But yeah, the first thing I did on the radio was read the weather forecast. And by the looks of this microphone, it might have been into this microphone. So yeah, this is my old stomping grounds.
Well, it all is coming full circle.
It is. And I actually posted, before I got started tonight here, I actually posted a thing on Instagram and TikTok of, this is kind of a surreal thing for me, because I'm actually recording an episode of the Roots Music Rambler and working on this weekend's episode of Appalachian Echoes in the very studio where I started my broadcast career 38 years ago, 38 years ago. So it's kind of surreal, brings back some good memories, mostly good memories.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the radio station is the same building, but they've added, it used to be 2 radio stations. Now it's 14.
Wow.
And so they have multiple control rooms around the building now. And some of them are mostly like programmed and satellite driven. And then there's the main studio, which is right through the windows over behind the computer here. Is where their main morning show happens over here. So there's a lot of live programming here still too. So it's just kind of fun to be back up on the hilltop and, sitting in the studio. It's pretty neat. I don't like the receding hairline lighting, but other than that, we're good.
Yeah, that's what prompted me to ask, because I'm like, I don't usually get that much glare off your forehead while we're recording.
I got major, I like Jeff Bezos' forehead glare today for whatever reason.
God, no.
It is what it is. It's fluorescent lighting. What can I do? But
And now everyone is aware of your full circle experience here. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, fun stuff. And actually, I add a little bit, because we've when we talked to our guest, which we'll talk about in just a minute, we were talking before the interview about some of my radio experiences, which I think leaked into the show too. So we'll touch on those when we get to talk to her in a minute. So we should probably move on to that part. Welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
And today on the show, we're going to dig back into some traditional country sounds with Central Virginia-based band Ramona and the Holy Smokes. So they're based in Charlottesville, which is the home of the University of Virginia. But Ramona Martinez, the group's lead singer and the driving force, she has family ties to South Texas and blends up this pure country sound with her Chicana cultural ties. And what comes out is this really great sound that blends culture and languages, but it stays in the pocket of this great honky tonk band.
Such a great way to put it. This is the kind of music you expect to hear in a honky tonk bar, and then you go, whoa, these guys are really good. And like Frank said, the traditional country sound is there. So we would put Ramona and the Holy Smokes in the same category as a Kimmy Bitter or a Logan Ledger, maybe even a Charlie Crockett. Good kind of Texas cowboy country songs, old school 67s country sounds. That's where we would put them.
Absolutely. I binged all of Ramona and the Holy Smokes, to prepare for the show. And I mean, there was really nothing that I heard that I didn't like. Wait, did I say that right? Okay. Like everything was just good. So I'm really excited to talk with Ramona, and she just seems like a badass with a badass band, and, like kind of what I want to be when I grow up. So It should be fun.
Certainly. They just released a new full-length self-titled album. The cover of that album is actually a tribute to the classic Waylon and Willie album cover from the 70s. It also features native flowers from both Virginia and Texas on it too. So even more symbolism there.
Yes. I'm a big fan. And then the album, we just found out, popped all the way up to number 3 on the alt country album charts yesterday. For the day that we're recording this, it happened yesterday. So that's like, whoa, perfect timing.
Exactly. We got lightning in a bottle with this one. Lots of good ground to cover today. We're also going to have our Picking the Grinning segment, and we'll recommend some good new music for you as well.
Right. So what are we waiting for? All right. Go refill your bourbon, Jason. And I want to talk to Ramona.
I'm not supposed to tell the station that no, I have bourbon.
Oh, shit. No, go refill your lemonade.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be back in a second. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Just no longer true.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That is the latest single from Ramona and the Holy Smokes. It's called This Little Heart. It's from the band's self-titled album released in September. And Ramona Martinez, her own self, is here with us on the big show. Welcome to the show, Ramona. Thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we are so glad to have you. And we were talking in the intro about how you're based in Central Virginia in the Charlottesville area. But I think it's you who has family ties to South Texas. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, my dad is from Corpus Christi. I didn't grow up there, but I did spend a little bit of time visiting family. I actually grew up overseas most of my life because of my mom's job. She worked for the State Department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm not super close to that side of my family, just because my dad left Texas when he was 18 and only has visited since, joining the military and all that. So yeah. But
Oh,
yes, I
wow.
definitely have roots there and definitely feel very inspired by the culture of the border, um, and the rancho and how that's all intertwined with country western music.
Oh yeah. Where,
For sure.
just out of curiosity, where all did you live overseas?
Finland, Russia, Mexico, Brunei, Australia, Japan, all before I was 16.
That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, that, yeah.
Jealous.
Tough road to hoe as a kid, I bet.
Some kids like it and some kids don't, and I actually liked it. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, very good.
I would love it. I would still love it.
Yeah. I mean, I've visited one or two of those, but I'm not sure if I'd want to live there, but I bet that was an adventure. It almost had to be. So,
Yeah, I mean, Australia, I lived in Canberra, which is kind of like the Albany of Australia. There's not much going on there. And then I lived in Tokyo, which is like the most exciting city in the world. So,
yeah,
Wow.
definitely lots of different flavors.
that's awesome.
I can attest to Canberra. I spent my 21st birthday there. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. But only because I was with a group of like 25 Americans and we got shit faced.
Of
So,
course.
As
but
one
yeah,
does in Australia.
Yeah.
exactly.
I was in kindergarten, so that's not what I was doing.
Probably
But
not shit faced.
Nice. Well, let's bring it back to your home now in Charlottesville. I'll admit that I know very little about the music scene in Charlottesville. The only thing that comes to mind there is I think I'm pretty sure Dave Matthews Band got its start there. Is
Right.
Charlottesville, like, is the honky tonk traditional country sound big in that area, or are you in the business of making
No.
it big?
It's not big here. It's I mean, there's a lot of great music in Charlottesville. There's been a lot of great Americana music in Charlottesville. But we're the first kind of like straight up country western band that has been around. There used to be Jim Wave and the Divorcees, maybe 10 years ago, and they were wonderful. But we're pretty much a local band. Whereas we've, made the decision to try to be famous outside of the state, which is a decision because there's a lot of work involved in that, as you know. And yeah, so that's what we've decided to do and what we've been working towards. And we tour a lot outside of the state, and with this album are basically hoping to make a name for ourselves outside of Virginia.
Very nice.
And you should know that not only am I, really into cultures other than my own, especially how they intersect in music, but I also teach high school Spanish. So, I was thinking I was going to nerd out about your South Texas roots, but now that you say, that's isn't as prominent as I thought, but that's why I got really excited when you said you lived in all these other places. So how does it all come together with your music making and your songwriting? And, do you take influences from, your experiences in all these other places?
Yeah, it's funny, like thinking about growing up overseas, I had like a kind of sideways introduction to American culture, kind of like watching baseball on military television, like watching Turner Classic Movies. My mom was like super into like the golden age of Hollywood, and I saw all those musicals and listened to like a lot of Ella Fitzgerald and Frank Sinatra growing up. So like definitely a big, pop jazz influence of like classic songwriting was a huge part of my upbringing. And then Beatles, of course, and my dad was more into like Marvin Gaye and the Temptations and Aretha Franklin, and so that's more what I grew up with. It wasn't so much country music, but I definitely just had kind of this like deep appreciation of American culture without ever having really grown up in it. And so kind of like this, that and the combination of being Latina and feeling like that was a part of my identity, but without living in a place with other Latinos, like far away from my family. And also my dad never taught me Spanish growing up. So that like felt like I was really removed from it early on, and now as an adult, like coming back to that part of my culture and kind of like being a bridge between cultures, like through performing music in Spanish with the band. Not only like Esta Rida, which is on the album, but we also love to cover Vicente Fernandez, Pedro Infante, we do Selena, like there's so much rich connection between Mexican music and country western music that people just don't know about, especially in Virginia. In Texas it's a little more obvious, but so yeah, it's an honor to be able to do that, especially in this day and age with all of the illegal arrests of people. And it's just, yeah, it's like, it's important. So
that's
Agreed.
great. So I could kind of a couple of questions here, because I'm still trying to get all this right in my head, because you definitely have a very different background, childhood path to where you are now. I want to know, A, how you ended up in Charlottesville, and B, if your mother worked for the State Department, what did your father do? That would be interesting to me to know.
yeah. So I ended up in Charlottesville because I used to work in radio and podcasting, and worked for NPR News for like 5 years on the like newscast unit. So like from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corval Coleman. That's like, I was like on that desk, like checking, all of the anchors' scripts to make sure everything was like accurate and et cetera, et cetera. And then being in headline news just like slowly wears you down. I mean, I have such respect for the people who do that for like 20, 30 years. And those are all the people that I worked with. But I just like, after 4 years of that, was like a complete nihilist and was like, I got to get out of here. And so I took a job on a radio show here at UVA called Backstory. It was like an American history show.
Nice.
And I worked on that for a couple years. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I've done my dream of being a radio producer, and I was kind of just sick of being in an office. And I decided to stop working full time and have just like done random stuff, hustled. And then, yeah, my dad was a Marine when he met my mom, and he retired. And usually in the State Department, they allow spouses to like travel, obviously, together. And then usually they're employed in the embassy in some fashion.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it might interest you to know that I am a fill-in anchor on the local NPR affiliate
nice.
in Louisville.
Which station?
WFPK. Actually, on the music side,
Okay.
I fill in for the Americana show. I'm the kind of backup host to Michael Young on a show called Roots and Boots, but I'm involved as a sort of adjunct staff member with, Louisville Public Media, which includes the news operation and everything. And I actually have the an interesting, wild experience. I was a network radio producer at ABC Radio Sports right out of college, and I actually worked the 96 election night at ABC at 66 and West End in New York City, and got to see a real, radio newsroom go berserk on election night, which I can definitely appreciate what you're saying and where you're coming from in terms of, how you can't imagine people doing that for so long. Because I watched it for one night and was like, y'all are nuts. There's no way I could do this.
It's so crazy. And, I'm sure it's gotten even more crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the world.
I can't even imagine.
So,
yeah.
Well, let's take a break now and let people hear a little bit more of the album. Listen to a little bit more of Ramona and the Holy Smokes. When we come back, we'll dig into songwriting and a lot more with Ramona Martinez. Let's actually go out with the song she mentioned, Esta Rida, on Roots Music Rambler.
Mi amor, te adoro, es mi vida, para ti yo solo soy tuya. Mi vida te lo ruego, líbrame esta locura. wanna get drunk after work again. Drink a beer, smoke a spliff from 5 to 10. Someday I'll leave this life behind, but I just don't know when. Wasted days and wasted nights. I like reds and I like whites. Watch me sinking, drinking after work again.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. You know I love that. It's a song called Drunk After Work from Ramona and the Holy Smokes. Ramona Martinez joins us on the program. So, Ramona, what's the hidden message in that song?
Oh God. Well, I think that song is a pretty good encapsulation of what the album is about, just kind of in different forms.
Okay.
So it's about being stuck in a place that you don't want to be and knowing you got to change, but not really being quite ready to change yet. Whether that be like situation, like romantic situation, financial situation, maybe like I'm in this loop of poverty and I don't know how to get out of it, and I know I have to, and I'll do whatever it takes. And so that's, yeah, I think Drunk After Work is definitely, almost all of the songs on the album are autobiographical, except for Esa Herida, actually. But yeah, I think it's a very relatable song.
Well, and here I went.
I'll say.
Here I went asking that question as a joke, and it actually ends up having a bigger meaning. So,
Oh yeah,
I'm a
This
hell-
is songwriting, baby.
I'm a hell of an accidental interviewer, aren't I? That's good stuff. A little bit more seriously, though, that song, you know, obviously, you know, is representative of the album, and the other songs on it kind of come together to compose something a little bit bigger. When did you start writing songs, and do you have a method or process for writing that either puts you in the mood or is more productive than others? What's your process like?
So I wrote about 10 songs when I was like 16, when I got my first guitar, and I really liked it. And then I didn't write it anymore. I was like, I don't really have anything to say, you know. And I've been a musician my whole life. I played upright bass mostly. And so if you're a bass player, you're like in super demand. So I played like in orchestra, I played jazz, I played everything. Motown, I played in a classic rock cover band in high school.
Oh.
And then when I was, let's see, in 2021, I decided I was going to try to like channel a poem. And I had this story in my head for a long time that I was really bad at writing verse. And I was like, I'm just going to write and I'm not going to judge myself. I'll just write whatever. And it ended up being this like really spiritual, beautiful poem and experience. And like since that time, after that, I had like over 20 songs come to me in a year.
Oh,
And they would just like fall out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I call it like transmissions from my honky tonk angels, because it was like every other week I was writing a song. And yeah, and like it slowed down a lot. I actually just wrote the first song that I've liked in over a year and a half yesterday, 2 days ago.
Oh.
I have written, I probably write a song maybe every 4 or 5 months now, as opposed to like as much as it was at first. But I think like part of that is like the band takes so much, I call it band homework, like all of the social media, the, you know, graphic design, the everything that goes into it. Luckily, my guitarist Kyle handles all of our booking, and we wouldn't be able to do it without his help. And also he's got like great strategic vision for like how to run the band like a business, which it is. But all of that doesn't leave a lot of room for like wanting to write music, because if I have free time, I'm like, I'm going to listen to a novel or read a novel or like watch a movie. But I was like about to doze off to sleep the other day for a nap because I was so tired. And in that liminal space, like right before you fall asleep, you get song ideas, like full melody, like full everything, right? And I was like, I think this is a good song. I think I'm going to get up. And I got up and I wrote the song in like 2 hours. And
Wow.
that's, so do I have a process? No. I just allow myself to be used by the universe, which is the best you can hope for. I think some people find that like writing every day works for them. I'm just I can't force it.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens. So
I think the last time
Wow.
I felt like a honky tonk angel was talking to me, I think they were saying, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, and it will be, yeah. It's a different experience for me, but that's how that goes.
Oh my goodness. And I'm just sitting over here going, man, I wish I were more creative. Like the thought of writing a song, I don't even know. But you mentioned one of your band members. So how did you find your band? Like
Oh, yes.
they're great. You're great. Like I love everything that I've heard from you. But how did you run into these guys?
Yeah, so there was a country western band that started around the same time I did, and all of those boys were in it. And then that band fell apart, and I had slowly been taking them, not like they were playing in that band and my band. And there's only so many musicians who play country western in Charlottesville. There's 5 of us. And so now they're all in my band. But yeah, they gosh, I mean, they're being in the band with me and all that they give, all of the like sweat equity, all of the hours on the road, all of their creative contributions to the arrangements and the time they put into practicing and playing shows and getting better. It's just like evidence to me that God wants us to be a band and wants us to do this together because he makes our path clear, and also we have the best time together. We love each other so much. We're just constantly like laughing in the van. And they're amazing. They're also just like all brilliant, cool, great people. So I feel so lucky. Usually when you're in a band, there's like one person you're like, ugh. But
Any profession, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the album you just released, it's simply self-titled, Ramona and the Holy Smokes. It's your first full-length studio album. I know you had an EP and a handful of singles before that, but it has not only has it gotten some media attention, but I do believe if I bring this page up here, I had it up in front of me and now I don't know what I did with it. But I do believe as of yesterday, the alternative country specialty chart, which is one of the charts that, serves kind of the Americana space. We got Brennan Lee's new album is number 1. Brothers Comatose is number 2. And in it, number 3 is Ramona and the Holy Smokes. So, yeah, things seem to be going pretty well for this album right out of the gate. What do you attribute that success to?
I have no idea. We looked at that yesterday. I sent it to the group text in the morning, and that emoji with this just like huge eyes and blushing, that's like what everyone sent. And they were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and you've gotten some media attention, and I know obviously our buddies at IVPR are the ones who really connected us with you. I've been around long enough to know that first time albums from bands not in Nashville don't always have that kind of attention or push or success right out of the gate. So whatever you're doing, I mean, it's great music and you have a very distinctive sound, which I also think falls in line with sort of a trend that we've kind of documented a little bit here on Roots Music Rambler with a lot of this kind of retro country sound. We've interviewed Kimmy Bitter. We've interviewed Logan Ledger. Charlie Crockett obviously is big and he's got more of a throwback sound. And I think you guys fit into that. Was that something that you saw as a trend and jumped on it, or that's just the music you make and it just happens to be coinciding with all this?
Yeah, I definitely think it was just a coincidence because honestly, I never thought I would have written country western songs. Like I actually I guess I was 22. I hosted a country bluegrass, rockabilly, blues, old time, like all Americana from the 20s to the 80s.
Nice.
For 3 years, I did a show on WAMU's Bluegrass Country, and I researched like every single song I played. So I got like a deep and wide education in like all of the like classic American roots music. And so when I sat down to write songs like whatever, several years later, they just came out country songs. Like it was a complete accident. And yeah, I mean, the band started about 3.5 years ago, so it was like right around the time. I don't know. We're just tools for the zeitgeist. Like we're just, it's not. We didn't decide. It's just like it just happened.
Sure.
So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, whatever it is, we're here for it, so we know that you guys have a lot of Carolinas and Virginia shows coming up through the end of the year. What does 2026 look like for you? And are you planning a more extensive tour, more music? What can we expect next year?
For sure. Well, we are not going to be recording new music for a while. We're going to be sitting on this album and promoting it. And yeah, I think that we do have a big tour scheduled for May. We'll be doing the same route we did this year, going down to Texas, which is one of our favorite places to play, and many places in between. We're hoping to hit Memphis on the way down this time as well, and we'll be back in Nashville and New Orleans and all that. So that's like the big one. Our pedal steel player is a tenured professor. So he's been on sabbatical for 1.5 years, and we've been joking that his gap year is over and he has to go back to school.
Yep.
So we can't do big tours unless he's on break. But we are, we get up to New York a couple times a year. We're hoping to be in Philly a couple times. We're definitely we pretty much play a show every single weekend, and we often drive out of state to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll be around mostly in the mid-Atlantic area, but then we will be heading southwest a little bit in May. But yeah, otherwise, my plan is to just try to get good at TikTok and hope for the best.
I think that's on everybody's agenda. We gotta, if we're gonna promote our stuff,
unless people dump the platform because it turns into this crazy,
Yeah. Who knows?
fascist hellscape.
Anything's possible these days. Well, I have to throw out a lobby for Louisville, Kentucky, because I want.
We will probably go there.
Good. I want to come. I want to see y'all play. And I have a couple of contacts. So if you need a place, let me know, and I'll make a phone call.
Thank you.
And I know Frank would certainly love to see you guys in Chicago. Fitzgerald's is a wonderful venue that
we are going to Chicago next year.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we're coming. We're planning it.
Okay. Very good.
Awesome.
Well,
and like Jason said, I know some folks here too. So if we can be of any help, definitely reach out.
I went to Chicago, actually.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Very cool.
Amazing.
All right.
I did not. I didn't even consider it. But wow, that's impressive.
I don't usually say that. I should have just said I went to school in Chicago, but you probably would have asked me where.
I would have, because I grew up on the UIC campus.
Okay.
So I'd be like, "Well, did you go to UIC?" So yeah, I totally get it. And like I was telling my 16-year-old not that long ago, I said, "Don't even think about University of Chicago."
I had a family friend who gave she was dying of terminal cancer, and she was very wealthy, and she asked my mom, "What do you want me to leave you?" And my mom said, "Pay for Ramona's education."
Oh my gosh.
That's why I got to go to Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, you got in though. You got in on your own, and that's not easy.
Thank you.
That's very true. Congratulations on that.
Oh,
Ramona, as we wrap up here, where can people find you and follow the band and whatnot on their interwebs?
Yes, well, you can find us at RamonaandTheHolySmokes.com, and you can find all of our everything there, including where we're playing, and can listen to the album on whatever, Bandcamp, wherever you like. Also, I do feel like if you like Patsy Cline, if you like Hank Williams, if you like Lefty Frizzell, you'll like our music. But I think even if you don't like traditional country, we are not so traditional that we sound like we're trying to be like those acts I just mentioned.
Right.
So yeah, I would love for everybody to check it out, give it a stream or 3 for us. Tell your friends.
Well, that's why you're here. So we'll definitely make sure
Yes, thank you.
there's links to all those places in the show notes. Ramona Martinez, thanks for hanging out with us on Roots Music Rambler. We're tickled to have you. Excited for the new album, especially. I mean, a lot of people are apparently excited for it if it's climbing up those charts that fast. The next time we talk to you, we want you to bring your Grammys and show them off to us and all that good stuff. That'd be great.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Everybody, the Pickin' the Grinnin' segment is coming up next. For now, we're going to go out with what amounts to be an oldie now from Ramona and the Holy Smokes. It's from their first EP, and it's called I Honky Tonked Too Hard Last Night. Stick around. This is Roots Music Rambler.
I honky tonked too hard last night. Don't talk so loud. I'm barely getting by. Said never again. Guess it was a lie. 'Cause I honky tonked too hard last night. Started out with a whiskey.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. How about that, Ramona and the Holy Smokes, kids? Got to go out and check that album out. We're super, super excited that it's seen such a push here right out of the gate, and that means it's probably worth listening to, so you should go check it out.
And she is even cooler than I originally thought. Getting
Yeah.
to know and like learn about all the places that she's lived, and I'm like, now I really want to be like her when I grow up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was just so much fun to have her. I love the fact that she's got a background in public radio. Like, we have a lot in common. She's somebody we would just hang out with, like if we lived in the same town. If she would have
Yes.
us, I guess is probably a qualifier.
We might scare her off, but
Yeah. Yes. I don't get a lot of invites over hanging out with people these days. So, that's the way that goes.
Anyway, it's time for the Pickin' the Grinnin' segment. This is the part of the
boy.
program where Frank and I pick music to recommend to you. It might be a new song. It might be a new artist. It might be a new album. It might be something old that we've just kind of drummed up, haven't listened to in a while, that we're kind of bringing back to the surface for you. But it's music that we picked that's making us grin. If I'm not mistaken, the last time we did this, Frank went first. And so I'm going to go first this time.
Okay, fine.
Because we're taking turns. I'm not being an asshole. We're just taking turns.
no, I know it's cool.
So my Pickin' the Grinnin' this week is a gentleman by the name of Trey Hedrick. Trey is a singer-songwriter and a multi-instrumentalist. He's from the southeastern Ohio along the West Virginia border. So we had Corduroy Brown on the show not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's from the same general area, Chesapeake, Ohio area, across from Huntington. I think Trey's a little bit further out in Ohio, though. But he has been a kind of guitar picker, a mandolin player, a fiddle player in somebody else's band for, several years now. Even though he's a young guy, he's kind of a little bit of a prodigy on those instruments. And he is focusing now on his own music. And I've started to pick up a couple of tunes that I've heard, and I've done a little bit of not a deep, but a medium dive with him on Spotify. And he's got a ton of talent. And I think he's going to wind up being one of these guys like I'm trying to think of a good example. He reminds me of a young Ricky Skaggs in a way.
Okay.
And he's got some good songs out there that he's written, and he plays really, really well. So if you're into kind of the bluegrass, picking and grinning sound,
Mhm.
I think Trey Hedrick is somebody you should check out. I think we're going to try to get him on the show at some point. And so we'll talk to him. We'll get to know him a little bit more as we move along here, but get a head start on that and go listen to Trey Hedrick. It's Trey Hedrick. He's from Southeast Ohio, and I think he's a talented kid. There you go.
Nice.
That's my pick.
Okay. I'll definitely, I do like the bluegrass sound, so you had me sold at that point, but if we're going to have him on the show, then I really got to do my homework.
Very good.
Nice. All right. So, my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
My pick this time is a specific song, And it's kind of a roundabout story, not roundabout, but maybe a little lengthy. I don't know. Let me just get started here. Okay, so we're recording this like mid-October. So a few weeks ago, Tom and I went to Fitzgerald's to see Los Gallos. While we were there, I saw John Langford, and I'm like, what the hell is John Langford doing here? John Langford from the Mekons, the Waco brothers. I've mentioned Waco brothers and John before on the show. And then while we're sitting in Fitzgerald's, I looked at the Fitzgerald's website and see that John Langford and Sally Timms are playing right after Los Gallos. And so I told Tom, we have to stay. So we did. And because we stayed, I had to drink a couple more margaritas. And so I was good and sauce by the time John Langford and Sally Timms got to the end of their set. And so another part of the story with John Langford is that I met him one night with Lindsay, my friend that I've spoken about before, who passed away earlier this year. And I don't know, we just like the three of us just kind of like, well, Lindsay and I had this instant like connection with John Langford, and it was just like a running joke, you know, like between Lindsay and me, you know, like he was our boyfriend, whatever, but it wasn't anything like that. That's just girl talk. But you know, Lindsay adored him, I adore him, and it seemed that it was mutual. So seeing John, that was the first time since Lindsay passed away, and so I broke the news to him. And so, you know, there was a lot more emotion than usual. So John Langford, Sally Timms are playing, and then they break out into Unknown Legend, the Neil Young song. And, you know, I think it was a combination of the margaritas and talking about Lindsay, and like, it just made me super emotional. Fast forward to this past weekend when my Cubs were eliminated from the playoffs. And it was also the same weekend as Shoals Fest in Florence, Alabama. So lo and behold, I was shit-faced again, watching the Cubs with my family. I drink a lot. And so I'm watching, you know, clips from Shoals Fest, and Jason Isbell is singing Unknown Legend. And I lost it. I was just like, oh my God, this song, Lindsay loved Jason too, you know? And yeah, so now I can't stop listening to that song. In fact, I had it on in the car right before we started recording. So I imagine a lot more people than I think already know the song. And I know it's been covered plenty, but it just like now it's got a whole different meaning or significance to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's making me grin in a melancholy kind of way nowadays.
Sure. That's good. That's the power of music, when you can find a song, whether it was intended to have that kind of emotional grip on you or not, when you can find a song that connects you with a person or a memory or a place or something like that, that you can hold on to. That's what makes us love music. And so that's great. And that's a great song. Incidentally or coincidentally, I guess, as I was prepping for this coming weekend's Appalachian Echoes, I found a brand new cover version of Unknown Legend. That is kind of a bluegrass version of it by Lucas Nelson, Sierra Farrell, and the Traveling McCourys. So
that's right.
That song was on my radar this week too. So that's
crazy,
interesting coincidence, stars aligning and whatnot. So yeah. So now I know that song's going to have an additional meaning for me because it has an additional meaning for you. So unknown. And if you don't know what the song Unknown Legend is, it's I was going down a desert highway on my Harley Davidson. That song. That's the song.
She rode a Harley Davidson.
I
don't. We should edit that out. I don't sing.
I'm leaving it in. You know I am.
Oh no!
So,
you're gonna do that to me.
Heck yeah. Well, I mean, I do it too. I think I threw down on the Creekers or something recently, which I shouldn't have done because I'm sure it sounded like shit. Anyway, all right. We're getting silly, and I'm tired of people looking at my receding hairline. So, Roots Music Rambler is a production of Falls and Partners. Copyright 2025. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Gentacorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com, and make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next hoedown and throwdown. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.